On November 20th, 1943, the Allies' first major offensive strike against the Japanese in the Central Pacific was about to begin. The main target was Baishio, an island in the southwest corner of the Tarawa Atoll. History would remember this crucial conflict as the Battle of Tarawa. Located in the middle of the Gilbert Islands, Tarawa contained a vital airstrip. The Allies wanted that airstrip whatever the cost. This historic battle was fought for a piece of land barely half the size of New York City's Central Park. These 19,000 Marines from the 2nd Division are getting ready to charge the most heavily defended spot on the face of the earth. The Japanese commander had boasted, "1 million men cannot take Tarawa in 100 years." The U.S. Admiral leading the pre-invasion bombardment made his own ill-fated quote, "We will not neutralize Baishio. We will not destroy it. We will obliterate it." Both men proved to be poor prophets. The Japanese had spent 20 months preparing for this battle by building an extensive network of defensive positions. To add to the difficulty, Allied naval planners had misjudged the tides surrounding the island. Their landing craft got hung up, and Marines were forced to wade through chest-high water while being raked with fire from Japanese positions. Positions which by this point were expected to have been obliterated. 4,500 deeply entrenched elite Japanese troops kept the Allied invasion force pinned down. The Marines couldn't move, and the reinforcements were having trouble just making it to the landing zones. Soon, sections of the beach were covered with so many dead and wounded that Allied tanks couldn't come ashore without running over the bodies. As night approached, the Marines held only 1/10 of a mile of beachhead. That 1/10 of a mile cost the Marines 1/3 of their initial invading force of 5,000 men. And the next day promised more of the same. In the midst of chaos, the life of every Marine depended on his willingness to risk it. That meant standing up and charging into a hail of bullets. There was no easy way to knock out the Japanese emplacements. The only answers? Grenades, TNT, and flamethrowers. Every strong point on the island would have to be taken in that manner. By the end of the second day, the Marines had succeeded in splitting the island's defenses in half. While an Allied victory no longer seemed in doubt, there were countless pillboxes that had to be destroyed before the island could be considered secure. The Japanese literally fought to the last man. U.S. Marine casualties continued to escalate. The Japanese even made their way through the water to demolished Allied landing craft, and turned those ships' machine guns against the Marines, until the Marines silenced their own stranded landing craft, now filled with Japanese soldiers. The unparalleled footage you are viewing today was shot by Marine and Navy Signal Corps cameramen who put their lives on the line to document this battle. Their cameras kept on rolling through the fourth day when the Japanese strongholds were finally neutralized. These young men had the unenviable task of collecting the dog tags of their buddies who had fallen during the 76 hours of hell called Tarawa. More than 1,000 Marines were killed and 2,200 wounded during the three-day battle. The sacrifices of these young men were instrumental not only in capturing a vital air base in the Pacific, but also in teaching important lessons to the Allied military planners. Lessons learned at Tarawa would save thousands of lives throughout the Pacific War as the Allies leapfrogged their way to Japan. This well-built Japanese bunker is one of the reasons that Tarawa took so many Marine lives. It took bulldozers and lots of elbow grease to finally destroy these fortifications. Only 17 of the 4,500 Japanese defenders survived the battle, along with 129 Korean forced laborers. These captured Japanese soldiers had their clothes cut off to assure they weren't concealing any weapons. The enemy survivors were then patched up by the same Marines they'd been trying to kill. By the end of Day 4, Allied planes were already using the captured airfield for reconnaissance and bombing missions. At Tarawa, acts of extreme heroism were commonplace. 4 Medals of Honor were earned, 3 posthumously. A war correspondent perhaps best summed up the victory with these few words: "Tarawa was a triumph of the human spirit." Meanwhile, another type of triumph was being achieved in the desert of New Mexico, not by soldiers, but by scientists.